Welcome back to the channel. My name's Mizko and I teach designers how to become legendary. Now, last week I had a student of mine ask me, how do I bring through an interactive prototype into my beautiful Figma presentation? Now, to be clear, I did teach this in my Figma Masterclass course, but he had not reached that chapter yet. So he had missed out on that gold nugget. But he did say, I will be completing chapter 8 this weekend. So Julian, my eyes are on you. Now, after recording a very quick tutorial for him, I thought, why not share this with everyone else on YouTube? So let's dive right in, guys. Now, this is what we will be building. We'll have an interactive prototype inside a presentation. Here is a slide that I have taken out from my presentation deck. And if you want access to this slide deck, it's dedicated and designed for presenting your UX case studies. I talked about it and gave you guys a walkthrough in a previous video. So link is in the description if you want to learn more about that. But we've got a slide over here and we want to bring through this mobile prototype into this section. Now, I'm going to skip through some of the basics and I'm going to dive right into building this prototype to just quickly walk you guys through exactly how I would do it. And I've already covered a lot of the basics in our previous videos. So now take a look at this. We've got a map navigation, so a map over here, and we want to be able to navigate and move this map around, so that will be interactive. And then when I tap on this card details section where this credit card details are showing, I want to slide this panel up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Command Option K, and then hit Command Option K on both slides or both screens, and this will turn them both into components. I'm going to highlight them both and then hit Combine as Variants. So what we are actually creating is an interactive component inside this presentation. That's how we're going to create this interaction. Now, the key thing that you need to understand is when you are creating a prototype, especially for mobile screens, inside an interactive component, well, inside a component, when you link them up, you'll notice that you won't have access to the mobile slides or mobile effects. So you can't move in, you can't move out because Figma is not treating these screens as mobile screens anymore. They're treating them as components. So you won't have access to that. Now, the workaround is that we will create custom animations, something that you will learn in the Figma Masterclass course. Hint, hint. Anyways, let's dive right in, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you guys through exactly how to build this. Now, the first thing we need to understand is that if I hit on my design panel, this map over here is set as a fill image. So we obviously, if it's a fill image, we're not going to be able to move it around because it's set. It's an image that is set on the fill of this entire screen. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to remove this image and redesign it differently. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly screenshot my Google Maps very quickly. I'm going to then pop it over into this screen. So selecting the screen, I'll pop the screen inside, as you can see, like that. And I'm going to move this map all the way down to the bottom. So it sits beneath everything, okay? So I'm going to move it so I'm standing in the middle of an intersection. Hopefully I do not get hit by incoming cars. Then the second thing I'm going to do is hit F on my keyboard, and then I'm going to draw down a frame exactly where I want to mask this actual this map, right? So I've got the frame down, and then I'm going to just drag it inside my screen, just like that. And then I'm going to move the map inside this frame so it will mask it with clip content set. So if I turn that off, you'll notice that it doesn't show right now because it's obviously clip content here, but you can see that if I turn off clip content, you can see that the mask is the map is not masked. So I'm going to clip the content, and then I'm going to also clip the content here. I'm going to rename this to map, right? So now I've got the map moving inside, beautiful. Then the second thing I need to do is I need to create this animation because we don't have access to the slide up effect in the prototype. I need to manually create that. So there are two things that I need to do. So the first thing I need to do is actually double click on to this card. It's called sheet content. So you can see it's got everything inside the sheet. I'm going to hit Command C, click on my previous design, which I'll call initial state. I'm going to hit Command V, pop it down, and I'm going to set this initial state to all the way down here. So I'm going to set the positioning all the way down to at the bottom because it's going to go from down here and then slide up to this end state. So making sure that the naming convention is exactly the same. So sheet content and sheet content. And then I'll also want to fade in a black overlay, right? Because I want the black overlay to come in and then the sheet slides up. So I'm going to hit R on my keyboard, and inside the screen, I'm going to draw down a rectangle, and I'm going to set it to black, and I'm going to set it to 0%. And then I'm actually going to move this all the way down, right, into the screen right beneath the sheet content, and I'll name this overlay. And I'll just make sure it's centered vertically and horizontally. So everything is set here. Now I just need to go ahead and hit Command C on the overlay and set the end state over here. So I'm going to hit Command V, move the overlay beneath the sheet content and make sure it's set to maybe 80%. And then I'm just going to hold down Command and just move and just mask this so it's beneath it, doesn't show. And then at the top, that's all looking good. So perfect. So now let's just do a very quick recap. We've got the default initial state with a sheet content that's set to the bottom. We've also got an overlay that the initial state, the starting state, is at 0%. And then we also have a map that's masked inside this frame. When we tap on this actual element over here, the credit card details, we then want this overlay, right, to become 80%. And then we want the sheet content to slide up to the top. So everything we've got in place. Now we need to then set up the actual prototype. So I'm going to double click and select the map. I'm going to head over to prototype and I'm going to change the overflow scrolling to horizontal and vertical scrolling, which means that I'll be able to scroll this horizontally and vertically. And then I'm just going to double click onto this list field. As you can see here, list field is this credit card details. I'm going to click and drag and connect it to the end state. And on tap or on click, I want this to animate through Smart Animate over an ease out of 800 milliseconds, okay? Now, this entire component called payment method has been set up. We've got all the linking working inside. I'm going to scroll over to my slides. I'm going to hold down Command, and then I'm going to click directly onto this image, so it directly selects it. I'm going to hit Shift-I on my keyboard, and then I'm going to type payment method. So that finds the actual component. I'll hit Enter on my keyboard, and that will drop the component down inside this frame. So it's obviously being masked inside the frame right now. So if I select the image frame, head over to design and unselect clip content, you can see that it shows there beautifully. So I do want to mask it. So I'll select clip content, but instead I'm going to remove the image that's being filled within. I'm going to click on the component inside. I'm going to hit K on my keyboard to open up my shortcut for scale. Hold down Option and Shift to then reduce the size of this and maintaining the aspect ratio, as you can see, like that. And we are then very, very close. Now, obviously, I do want to bring in the image frame because it does have rounded corners, so it makes it a little bit more beautiful. So let's just call this, I think it's 280, I think it was. Or wait, how wide is this? 220. So I'll make this 220. Perfect. And then I'm just going to position this center. And you can see now it is beautifully framed. So now if I go ahead and select this slide, hit presentation mode, this will load in the entire design, the prototype, and you can see the map is loading in. So now if I move this, wow, this is absolutely insane. Beautiful. You're going to absolutely blow your clients, your stakeholders, your design team. You're going to blow everyone away. If you don't get a pay rise after presenting something like this and as interactive, I don't know what is going to get you that pay rise. So we've got that moving. Beautiful. And then if I tap on this, you can see that it beautifully slides in. Even without all the sliding effects that Figma provides us, we can do that ourselves, guys. So hopefully you now understand you can bring through interactive prototypes into your presentations, wow your customers, wow your clients, wow your team, wow your stakeholders. And then you've also learned how to actually bring that interactive component or prototype into your slides. So hopefully you found value in this video. If you did find value in this, make sure to gently smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe to get further updates. And I will see you guys in another video very soon.